Welcome back to the deep dive, the shortcut to knowledge. We take some really compelling sources, dig in, and pull out the core insights for you.
That's the plan.
And today, we've got a really fascinating one. It's high-stakes stuff, forcing us to bridge some pretty dense engineering with, honestly, some aggressive philosophical marketing.
Yeah, that's right. We have these two distinct sources, but they're totally linked. One's a very technical blueprint for an air purification system. It's called the Air 6-Free Maze Purifier.
Okay.
And the other, it's basically a sales manifesto, but it's framed philosophically.
Uh-huh.
It's all about the value of human lifespan, and it positions this machine as, well, the ultimate longevity product.
Right, so our mission today is figuring out how these two worlds collide. We need to unpack the engineering claims, and they're big claims, promising air purification unlike, well, anything else out there, and then connect that to why it apparently launched with a price tag of, what, $250,000?
Yeah.
Marketed as a youth time capsule?
Exactly. And the core claim is pretty remarkable. The source just lays it out there. This device is supposedly the world's only solution that truly filters toxic airborne particulates and aerosols.
The only one.
That's what they say. The argument is that we've sort of outsourced air filtration to our own bodies. Our lungs are doing the work. And it's time, they argue, to shift that duty back to machines. So people stop being, and this is their quote, living filters.
Wow, okay, living filters, that's a powerful image. Kind of terrifying, actually.
It is.
Let's start with the tech then, because that name Air 6-Free Maze Purifier, it definitely hints at something more complex than just, pushing air through some paper filter.
Oh, absolutely.
The system's laid out in 5 stages, so what's this defense line actually look like?
Okay, so it kicks off with some really intense pre-cleaning. Step 1 is what they call the ionization zone, and that's combined with dual electrostatic pre-filters. This stage targets the, let's say, the big and medium-sized stuff. Dust, pollen, VOCs, those volatile organic compounds, toxic gases, and critically plastic microparticles.
Which are everywhere now, right?
Pervasive, yeah. They're finding them in all air samples. So that's step 1.
Okay, but most purifiers, they might have a pre-filter, maybe a HEPA, maybe some carbon. They often stop around there. This one keeps going.
Yeah.
What's step 2, the secondary ionization stage? What's that for?
Step 2 is more about chemical preparation. This is where they say pathogens get neutralized and any leftover chemical toxins start to break down.
Okay.
But maybe the most crucial function, for the system anyway, is getting things ready for the final capture. This stage uses ionization to put a negative charge on all the remaining particles and aerosols, everything down to nanosize.
So they're basically tagging everything bad that's left, making it magnetic in a way.
That's a good way to put it. They're putting a charge on everything that still needs to be removed, yeah.
Got it. So everything left is charged up, ready for collection. Which brings us to, well, what the source calls the heart of the machine. Step 3, the electrostatic collection maze box. They actually label it the sacrificial black box.
Yeah.
Why such dramatic language, sacrificial?
Well, because this is where they claim the permanent capture happens. And that's what really separates this from, say, a standard HEPA filter, according to the source.
How so?
With a normal filter, sometimes captured particles, especially tiny ones, can potentially get released back into the air. It's like a temporary trap.
Okay.
Here, they say the forced air makes aerosol droplets lose their water content. Then, the charged toxic matter gets drawn irreversibly onto collection plates that have an opposite positive charge.
Hang on, I want to clarify that for you listening. Is this just sticking toxins to a filter surface, or is it
Well,
more than that? The source says the matter is solidly plated and irreversibly fixed. What does that actually mean?
They're implying something much stronger than just sticking. Chemical adhesion plus mechanical fixation. Less like dust on a sticky screen.
Right.
And more like, say, electroplating metal onto a surface. The idea is these ultrafine pollutants aren't just caught. They're electrically bonded, locked away permanently. The source is really insistent that these toxins become inert inside this black box.
That distinction, permanent plating versus just temporary filtering, that's a huge claim, technologically speaking. But they still don't stop there. There's step 4, the literal maze effect. If the toxins are already plated, why force the air through a complicated maze?
Yeah, it seems like overkill, right?
Yeah.
But this is described as the fail-safe. It's specifically designed for the absolute tiniest, hardest-to-catch nanotoxins.
Okay.
Imagine trying to run through a really dense, winding hedge maze, maybe blindfolded. You just can't avoid bumping into the walls constantly.
Right, you'd collide all the time.
Exactly. The maze effect forces the airflow through these repeated, really sharp turns. The idea is that any remaining nanotoxins just have to collide violently with the interior surfaces, and when they collide, they get completely absorbed.
So stuck physically to the inside walls.
Physically stuck, yes. Adsorption, not absorption. It sticks to the surface. It's meant to guarantee, well, exhaustive purity, like a final sweep.
It sounds like paranoia, but engineered. Extremely thorough.
You could say that.
So after all this, the ionization, the chemical breakdown, the permanent plating, this physical gauntlet of a maze, what's the claimed end result? Step 5, the output.
The claim is simple: 100% pure, toxin-free air. And they summarize it with that 6-free name, right? The output air is supposedly dust-free, germ-free, toxin-free, smoke-free, odor-free, and heavy metal-free.
That's quite a list.
It is, and that is the foundation for their whole argument about unlocking human longevity.
Okay, so the technical takeaway here, reading from the source, it concludes this system is more than a filter. It is the one true key to unlocking humanity's lifespan shackles. Quite a statement.
It really is.
And for anyone wanting to dig deeper into the tech side, they do provide a U.S. patent number. US 826-8058B2.
Which is fascinating in itself, right?
Uh-huh.
Connecting a specific patent number directly to this huge, almost philosophical claim about essentially reversing aging.
Exactly. Which brings us to the pivot. How do you possibly get from complex engineering diagrams and patent numbers to a $250,000 price tag?
Yeah, how do you make that leap?
This is where we dive into the other source, the philosophy part, articulated by someone named Fuqi Wu, who apparently just states, I am selling health, lifespan, and happy moments.
And the jump is dramatic. The price really grabs you. The prototype, originally valued at USD $250,000.
$250,000.
And the justification is just as bold. The claim is that this system can extend a person's youth lifespan by, they say, at least 15 to 20 years.
15 to 20 years.
That's the promise. And that's how it gets that name, the youth time capsule.
Okay, $250,000. That's like a small house in many places. To justify that, the return on investment has to be astronomical. Did they detail what you get for that? Like, what's the specific ROI for those supposed 2 extra decades of youth?
They do. They try to make it really tangible, moving beyond just vague longevity. They break it down into economic and physical benefits.
Like what?
Okay. They promise 15 to 20 years less sickness and chronic pain. That alone is huge.
Yeah.
Huge. Then they claim 15 to 20 years more earning power, plus 15 to 20 years more beauty and physical stamina.
Okay.
And maybe the most potent one, emotionally. 15 to 20 years more time with family, actually enjoying life, being active. It's framed as literally buying back your most precious asset. High quality, uncompromised time.
The whole philosophy underneath this really challenges how we typically think about getting older, doesn't it? The author insists, quote, it's not that you are old, it's that you inhaled too much toxic gas. That just reframes the whole process of bodily decline.
Yeah, it shifts the blame, doesn't it? Away from just internal biological clocks, genetics, towards external factors, environmental poison, essentially.
So it's not inevitable aging, it's accumulated damage.
That's the argument.
Right.
They say things like taking supplements or using anti-aging creams. That's just superficial external maintenance. The only way to achieve true reverse maintenance, to actually slow aging effectively, is from within, maintaining youth.
And that internal environment starts with the air you breathe.
Precisely. Clean air is positioned as the absolute foundation.
Which sets up this kind of paradox regarding their target audience. You'd think, okay, $250,000 machine, it's for the super rich. And maybe you assume they're already living in pristine bubbles.
Right.
But the source offers this really surprising counter insight. It says, quote, rich people also live in a dysfunctional hell.
Yeah, this is where the marketing gets really sharp. Psychologically insightful, maybe?
How so?
The source goes into detail about the internal misery of some wealthy people. They might have all the external luxuries, private jets, whatever, but their bodies are unhappy.
Okay.
Their normal daily struggle, as described, involves taking maybe 10, 20 different medications, vitamins, supplements every single day, just trying to feel okay, functional.
Wow.
They suffer from constant chronic pain or just random discomfort, numbness, terrible sleep quality, and just this pervasive low energy, feeling drained all the time.
So they've managed to outsource or buy solutions for almost every problem in their life except the basic functioning of their own physical body.
Exactly. So they go to the best doctors, obviously. What do the doctors tell them?
Let me guess. Everything looks fine for your age.
You got it. The source reports that's often the reply, and it just makes things worse for them. Their annual checkups might show yellow flags, maybe some red warnings on the reports.
Mm-hmm.
But the standard medical response is often, "You're okay. That's normal for your age."
That phrase, normal for your age, becomes like the main villain in this whole narrative.
Absolutely. The author flips it completely. Their counterargument is crucial, that normal for your age isn't actually health. It's just your body getting closer and closer to its saturation point for environmental toxins.
So you haven't gotten a specific terminal diagnosis yet?
Right. No specific disease name yet, maybe.
Sure.
But their body is sending all these signals, these feelings that make them feel, and the source uses this phrase, life is worse than death, even without a clear medical label.
Okay, so for that specific group, wealthy, outwardly successful, but internally miserable and feeling let down by conventional medicine, that $250,000 price tag for an air purifier suddenly starts to make a kind of desperate sense.
Exactly. It reframes it. It becomes an option they feel they almost have to try.
Because they can't buy a well-functioning body anywhere else.
That's the implication. They've spent their lives successfully earning money and buying solutions. But they can't buy good sleep or freedom from pain or stop feeling like they're deteriorating using the usual methods. So this manifesto positions the Air 6 Free as maybe the only viable path left for them. It shifts from being a luxury gadget to feeling like a necessary, almost medical intervention in their minds.
Which brings us to the final act, the strategic twist, which you could argue is the most brilliant marketing move of all.
A price flip.
The strategic price flip, yeah. Designed for mass adoption. You've painstakingly built this narrative valuing the machine at $250,000, tying it to 2 decades of youth. How do you then pivot to make it accessible without just destroying that perceived value?
It's clever. They changed the mechanism. Instead of buying it outright, they switched to rental.
Ah.
So to promote it, get it out there, achieve mass adoption, that $250,000 dream machine is now being offered for rent, starting at, quote, only USD $149 a month.
Wow, okay, that just completely demolishes the upfront financial barrier.
Totally. Makes it accessible to a vastly wider audience, at least initially.
Initially, so the source is clear this isn't the permanent price model, right?
Oh, very clear. It's framed as highly time-sensitive. The sources explicitly warn you, the listener, that this is a temporary historical offer, like a launch special.
And what happens after?
They state quite clearly the price will eventually be adjusted upwards based on, quote, proven medical and technological value. And they specifically mentioned that the retail price might very well go back to the original $250,000 selling price.
So they're essentially dangling the opportunity to try out this 2 decades of youth promise for just $149 a month, knowing full well that they're creating massive FOMO, fear of missing out, about losing access later or facing that huge original price tag again.
Precisely. The underlying message is, get it now while you can. If you wait, future access might mean long queues, having to rush to buy when it's available, maybe waiting months. They're leveraging that deep human desire for health and longevity against the anxiety of future scarcity and price hikes. It's classic marketing, but applied to something incredibly fundamental.
And the final sales pitch really ties all of that together, hitting the emotional core.
It does. It moves way beyond just talking about a physical machine. The closing statement hammers it home. I'm not selling a machine. I am selling the extension of your good days.
Powerful.
Yeah. They call getting this system a turning point in life, even the starting point of a true awakening. It's not about just maintaining things anymore. It's presented as a chance to actually reverse your trajectory.
Okay, let's try to synthesize this for you, our listener. We've dug into the technical side. The multi-stage ionization, that claim of permanent plating of toxins, the physical maze effect for nanoparticles.
Right, the hardcore engineering claims.
And we've paired that with this extremely aggressive marketing philosophy, one that justifies valuing clean air at $250,000 because it's positioned as the key to reversing aging, adding potentially decades of youthful life.
And if we connect this back to the bigger picture they paint, the manifesto insists that what we consider normal health, even for people with resources, might actually just be a state of toxin saturation nearing a dangerous tipping point.
Right.
And that breathing truly pure air isn't a luxury, but the single most essential, non-negotiable defense against that internal decay.
So this leaves us with the final, really provocative thought for you to wrestle with. If you take their premise seriously, that our normal air is essentially a slow poison accumulating inside us, what does that imply about the air you are breathing right now, every day?
And perhaps even more pointedly, If you genuinely believed these claims that 15 or 20 guaranteed years of improved, more youthful life were truly possible,
Yeah.
what price would you realistically put on that? What's that extension worth to you?
Something to think about, definitely. Every time you take a breath.
The Air 6 Free Maze Purifier is the world's only device that truly filters toxic airborne particulates and aerosols. Its core design returns the duty of air cleaning to machines, so people no longer act as living filters. Air 6 Free means dust-free, germ-free, toxin-free, smoke-free, odor-free, and heavy metal-free. 5 purification steps. Step 1: Ionization zone. Dual electrostatic pre-filters. Captures dust, pollen, plastic, microparticles, VOCs, and toxic gases. Step 2: Secondary ionization stage. Neutralizes pathogens and toxins. Charges all remaining particles and aerosols negative. Prepares them for final capture. Step 3: Electrostatic collection maze box. The sacrificial black box permanently locks away ultrafine pollutants. Aerosol droplets lose water in airflow. Residual toxins deposit onto positive plates. Solidly plated, irreversibly fixed. Step 4: Maze effect. Forces airflow through repeated sharp turns. Nanotoxins collide with surfaces and are completely adsorbed. Step 5: Output pure, toxin-free, pure air. System delivers the purest air on Earth. Dust-free, germ-free, toxin-free, smoke-free, odor-free, heavy metal-free. Conclusion: this is more than a filter. It is the one true key to unlocking humanity's lifespan shackles.